Hi everyone and welcome, this is the Apostate Prophet. Muslims are by far not the most targeted religious group in the world. They're especially not targeted and persecuted in the West. Especially not compared to minorities in the Muslim world, or minorities anywhere else. But if you listen to many very credible sources in the media that love to have more Muslim readers, or to Muslim activists or other propagandists, then it may look like everybody is after Muslims. There is a great oppression of Muslims happening. No one knows what's going on. Forget about slavery, remember Muslims. Forget about Jews, remember Muslims. Forget the Christians in Muslim lands, remember Muslims in America. What about LGBT Muslims? That's because Muslims complain the loudest. You know what I mean. You can make fun of any religion and can talk about any culture on TV. But when it comes to Islam and Muslims, then we have a problem. If we want to talk about anything regarding Islam, even when it's good, we have to be careful, and we have to look to get the approval of Muslims, which we will never get, by the way, if we have anything critical to say. That's odd, considering it comes from the only religion that forbids and punishes apostasy and the propagation of other religions, the fiercest religion with blasphemy laws. Statistically, by far the most oppressive religion in the world. But what about how hard it is to be a Muslim in America? It is popular to believe that the whole world is against you when you are a Muslim, that everyone unites against you, that they all want to see you weak and take advantage of you. They plot against you and they want to defeat you, that it is all of them against you. This typical Muslim victim mentality has a reason. It is deeply rooted in Islamic teachings. I mean, honestly, how would you feel if you had grown up with the indoctrination directly spoken by the Almighty Creator, that you Muslims are different, and that the infidels are all one and the same, and they don't like you. They will never like you. They only like each other, and they want to harm you, to persecute you. They want you gone. Look at the following Quran verse. O you who have believed, do not take as intimates those other than yourselves, for they will not spare you any ruin. They wish you would have hardship. Hatred has already appeared from their mouths, and what their breasts conceal is greater. We have certainly made clear to you the signs, if you will use reason. The last line has nothing to do with the rest of the verse, but that's a typical Quran issue. Here you are loving them, but they are not loving you, while you believe in the scripture, all of it. And when they meet you, they say, we believe. But when they are alone, they bite their fingertips at you in rage. Say, die in your rage. Indeed, Allah is knowing of that within the breasts. If good touches you, it distresses them. But if harm strikes you, they rejoice at it. And if you are patient and fear Allah, their plot will not harm you at all. Indeed, Allah is encompassing of what they do. As a Muslim, this is basically what you learn. That you can't trust the non-Muslims, that you can't be too close to them, that even if you love them, you are kind of being mistaken because they won't love you back. In the end, they are disbelievers and they are the enemy. They don't want to see you happy. I grew up in Germany as a Muslim and I basically learned that non-Muslims don't like me and my religion. I need to be careful. They want to rid me of my identity. Imagine the inferiority complex that gives you. The Quran was greatly influenced by Muhammad's relationship with the pre-Islamic Arab polytheists in Mecca, who allegedly drove the Muslims out and persecuted them. Later, Muhammad robbed their caravans and provoked them and slaughtered them and destroyed all their temples and all their idols, but forget about that part. Muslims were persecuted. This is why the Quran constantly reminds its reader that the infidel wants to persecute you. That's why it reminds you that if the infidels had the upper hand over you, they would be your enemies and oppress you, which is why you need to be strong and rely on Allah against the oppressive infidels. Think about how this makes you feel as a Muslim minority in the UK. That may help you understand why Muslims complain about racism in a country that is apparently the least racist country in Europe, which is the least racist region in the world. You read about how Muslims are persecuted again and again, and how Allah will punish those who persecute you, so don't lose hope. Imagine how this feels as a weak Muslim in India. Actually, while looking for this verse, I even accidentally typed 1085 instead of 8510, and that verse is also about persecution and trusting Allah. Wherever you look, the Quran tells of Muslims praying to Allah so that Allah doesn't leave them to the evil disbelievers who will persecute them. Think about how this makes a Muslim feel in America, where you are just living your life. And of course the Quran doesn't stop at telling you that the disbelievers will never be kind with you. It also tells the Muslims not to love the disbelievers. It says, do not take my enemies Allah's enemies, the Creator's enemies, and your enemies as allies. It forbids the befriending of Christians and Jews. It orders to subjugate them and calls them deluded and the worst of creation. I mention this quite often. That's why Islamic history is a history of conquering, enslaving, and subjugating all the cultures that you could possibly conquer. All sanctioned by the Quran and the Hadith, of course. But once they fight you back and break your endless campaign of conquest and finally put your religion in its place, and then even make peace with you and tell you that we should just accept each other and live along, then you complain about being discriminated against. Because that's what the Quran has been teaching all along. People might have some distrust for Islam due to recent history, or feel a little bit anxious when they are about to enter a plane and they hear about Islam due to recent events. But who is really to blame for that? And honestly, if the world wanted to widely kill Muslims and persecute them and outlaw Islam and go through a cleansing, then they would be doing that right now. They would have done that already. They wouldn't be busy trying to improve the rights of Muslims, inviting Muslims in and offering them possibilities, and helping Muslim countries with massive funds. If the world wanted to persecute Muslims, it would kind of look like how it looks for Christians in Egypt, Pakistan, or Sudan, or atheists and apostates everywhere in the Muslim world, or Jews in the Arab world. Oh wait, they're all gone. Of course, in some places, there seems to be a serious problem concerning the safety and well-being of Muslims, like in China. And ironically, the Muslim world is quiet about that and keeps complaining about the West that invites you. How about you pay attention to that, after fixing the rights of minorities in the Muslim world, of course, which we know most of those who complain about Islamophobia don't care about at all. There is a Muslim victim mentality, and no one is to blame for that except Islamic teachings. Seriously, most people couldn't care less that a Muslim is a Muslim. Wanting to shove Islam into everyone's life and making everyone talk about it all the time definitely doesn't make it better. Islam wants you to talk about it all the time. Maybe what needs to go is the loyalty to Islam, so we can learn to function like proper humans again and get rid of our identity crisis and our inferiority complex. Anyways, I'm sorry if I offended someone with this speech and caused discomfort and sadness among Muslims. I will make sure to stay out of the Muslim world, where I would be sentenced to death for that. Oh, sorry, that was offensive again. Don't worry, you are the victim, not me. Me. Thanks for watching. No matter if you like this video or don't like this video, I demand you to like this video, and to like and to subscribe and to share. Being comforted is my right. How you really feel about me doesn't matter. Most of my videos are not monetized, so you can watch them without ads. If you want to support my work, please consider supporting me on Patreon through the link in the description. You can even choose to become a member of this channel, so you can have a prophet head next to your face and be considered a prophet. Being a prophet has never been so easy. I'll be back with more. Have a great day and stay away from Islam.